Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. We are going on a bit of a cinematic journey today through 7 phenomena that honestly look exactly like magic, but are entirely grounded in the fundamental rules of physics and chemistry. If you've ever wanted to see the universe seemingly break its own rules, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Picture this. You just wave your hand over a perfectly clear bottle of water, and boom, you watch it instantly freeze completely solid right before your eyes. I mean, your brain immediately screams, "Is this real?" It feels like pure wizardry, a visceral illusion happening right in front of you. But there is absolutely zero trickery here. This is our first scientific miracle, and it perfectly sets the stage for the invisible forces we're about to uncover. So let's jump straight into Act 1, bending elements. All right, let's unpack the science behind that instant ice trick we just talked about. It relies on a process called supercooling. This is basically when you chill extremely pure water below 0 degrees Celsius, but crazily enough, it doesn't actually freeze. You see, normally water freezes because microscopic impurities, things like dust or minerals, they give the ice crystals something to physically latch onto. But if you remove all those impurities, the pure water just sits there in this suspended, highly unstable state. It is literally just waiting for permission to freeze. The exact moment you give it a physical shock, like a sharp tap, it triggers this massive, rapid chain reaction, and the water crystallizes in seconds. It's wild. Now, let's move from ice to fire. The illusion here is downright terrifying, right? Holding a roaring, blazing fire in your bare hand. But the reality? Totally safe. What you're actually doing is burning a thin layer of methane bubbles. By rubbing a soapy bubble solution that's been infused with methane gas right onto your skin, you're actually creating a chemical barrier. The real secret here is that the flame is burning the gas, not your actual skin. And because methane gas burns incredibly violently fast, the exposure time is extraordinarily short. The temperature simply never gets the chance to rise high enough to transfer heat to your skin and cause a burn. So it's not magic at all, it's just a masterclass in heat transfer and combustion speed. Moving right along to Act 2, matter with the mind. Okay, so what is a non-Newtonian fluid? Basically, it's a substance where its viscosity, or, its thickness, changes instantly depending on how much force you apply to it. Think of mixing simple cornstarch in water. It behaves like a totally normal liquid under gentle pressure. You can slowly dip your fingers right into it. But the moment you strike it hard, actually, scratch that. The moment you strike it with any real sudden force at all, the particles lock together. It instantly acts like solid concrete, causing your fist to physically bounce right off the surface. It's a substance that literally cannot decide what it is. And hey, this isn't just some fun tabletop trick for kids. The real-world implications of this are absolutely massive. The military is actively researching this exact concept to create adaptive protection systems. Just imagine a lightweight, flexible liquid vest that you can wear comfortably, but the very moment it's struck by a high-velocity impact, it hardens instantly into bulletproof armor. Talk about a game changer. Next up, let's look at something straight out of a sci-fi movie: ferrofluid. This is literally the liquid that sees magnetism. It's packed with billions of nanoscale magnetic iron particles, which are all suspended evenly throughout the liquid by a special chemical coating called a surfactant. When you bring a magnet anywhere near this liquid, those billions of tiny particles instantly align perfectly with the invisible magnetic field lines. It pulls the liquid up into these wild, alien-looking 3D spikes. You are visually seeing magnetism with your own eyes, which is just so cool. And this astonishing liquid, it powers incredible real-world technology, from the audio speakers sitting in your home right now to computer hard drives, space satellites, and even cutting-edge cancer treatment research. Let's get into Act 3, manipulating time and space. Now, what's really interesting here is the chemical tug-of-war happening in the famous iodine clock reaction. You mix these perfectly clear liquids together. It's a cocktail of hydrogen peroxide, starch, sodium thiosulfate, and potassium iodate, and for a moment, absolutely nothing happens. But here's the invisible battle raging inside. Reaction 1 is producing iodine, actively trying to turn the solution dark. But reaction 2, it's acting like a molecular eraser, immediately converting it back to clear before your eyes can even process it. This intense battle rages on until reaction 2 simply runs out of fuel. And then, bam! Reaction 1 wins the race, and the entire solution goes dark in a fraction of a second. By just tweaking the concentrations of the chemicals, you can literally set a chemical timer. Which brings us to a concept that totally challenges our daily reality: anti-gravity water. Picture this. You take a glass filled with water, place a flat card on top of it, flip the whole thing completely upside down, and then pull the card away. Now, logic obviously tells us the water should pour out immediately, right? Yet, the water stays completely suspended in the open glass, refusing to fall. No way, right? Well, the answer to why this happens comes down to a single number: 10. That stands for 10 newtons per square centimeter. To put that into perspective, that is the crushing force of the atmosphere around us pushing up against the bottom of the water. We are all living at the bottom of a giant ocean of air, and that atmospheric pressure easily overpowers the relatively tiny downward weight of the water inside the glass. As long as the surface tension creates a clean seal at the edge, the invisible air pressure pushing up wins every single time. And that brings us to our final act, the ultimate illusion, the invisibility cloak. Okay, so the secret mechanism we're looking at here is called refractive index matching. Basically, every transparent material bends light by a very specific amount. When you have two different transparent materials that bend light by the exact same amount, the light passes perfectly through both of them without any distortion, reflection, or bouncing at all. The visual boundary between those two materials is completely eliminated. And it all requires this perfect, exact mathematical harmony. See, the refractive index of Pyrex glass is roughly 1.47, and the refractive index of standard vegetable oil, you guessed it, also roughly 1.47. Because they share this exact same mathematical number, when you submerge the Pyrex glass in the oil, light treats them as if they are the exact same material. Without light bouncing off the edges of the glass to hit your eye, the solid object simply vanishes from the visible universe. I know it feels like pure magic, but the real-world stakes here are massive. This exact principle of light manipulation is the entire foundation for the fiber optic networks that power our global internet. It's used in advanced medical imaging techniques, and yes, it's even the basis for real-world research into actual cloaking materials. Invisibility cloaks aren't just fantasy anymore. They are firmly rooted in fundamental, measurable science. As we start to wrap things up, I want you to consider this thought. We didn't invent these forces, we just learned to play with them. It's a pretty profound, almost poetic realization, isn't it? Every single magical thing we've explored today, supercooling, air pressure, magnetic fields, refractive indexes, these rules have governed our universe since the Big Bang. Long before we were ever here to witness them, these invisible laws were already dictating exactly how matter and light interact. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative question. Which force would you choose to master? If you could wield the power of a non-Newtonian fluid, bend light like a refractive cloak, or command the precise timing of a chemical clock, which invisible rulebook of our universe would you want at your fingertips? Keep observing, keep questioning, and remember that what looks like magic is often just the universe waiting for us to figure it out. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.